Looking to be more productive and jump those hurdles of change and challenge easier? You've come to the right place. Welcome to Thrive in Life with your hosts, Zaheen, Nanji.
Hello and welcome to the Thrive in Life show. I'm your host, Zaheen Nanji, and this is episode number 33. I can't believe that we're there already, but I love to bring you guests that have something to share with you whenever it comes to thriving in life, and especially resilience. So today we have here Namita from UK, and when you hear if you are listening to the podcast, that's great, but I just want you to know that this was actually recorded as a video. So thank you for listening on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, as well as watching it on YouTube and on Facebook. Okay, so let's get started, Namita. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that we're going to talk about how to build NLP, how to build confidence in children. So how did you get into this?
Well, I've been working in law practice for the last 18 years as a practice manager. And a couple of years ago, I decided that I wanted to do something with kids because I've got two of my own. And it's just nice to spend time with kids. And so I looked at NLP. And
now, you know, NLP stands for what?
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay.
And just to say what neuro-linguistic programming is, it's a practice of understanding how people organize their thinking, their feeling, their language, and the behavior to produce the results they do. Right. So just a little bit of snippet of what NLP is. And so I found this company called NLP4Kids, and I am now a practitioner with them. And I deal with children's workshops based on confidence, anxiety, exam stress, and I see kids on one-to-one basis as well. Parents come to me with anger issues, motivation problems, concentration issues. So that's what I do.
Wow. So I'm sure you must be really busy because more and more we hear that kids are suffering from anxiety and confidence issues, anger issues. Do you find that?
That's right. That's right. I think the kids are so stressed these days. School life is stressful.
Yeah.
To begin with, and a lot of competitions, and parents put a lot of pressure on kids, which I feel really sad about, because I don't think the kids need so much pressure at this age. They really need to be children.
Right.
And so many times parents come to me and I say to them, just look at how much effort you're making the child put in, as far as studies is concerned, and they could get no time to actually be kids like we used to be when we were young. And it's all changed now.
Wow. So what age group do you go from then?
I do from about 5 years to about 12 years at the present time, but hopefully, I'm going to go beyond now.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Well, you know what? I always ask the guests that come on my show, what does resilience mean to you?
Okay, so to me, resilience is a person's capacity to snap back into response to adversity. So, the problems that they have. It's the ability to keep constructively working through the setbacks and the problems, and not get discouraged by the problems they face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way you say it, snap back. I'm so used to saying bounce back or bounce forward. So that's really cool. I like that. All right, so let's see now. Why is it important, do you think, to build that in children? Especially
I think these days the children face so many challenges at school, with friendships. It could be due to sudden changes in their home environment. Could be moving to a new school, new house, as simple as they could have a friend move out of school and not be left with any friends, and that could affect them. Make them anxious. And so they find it really difficult to handle even simple relationships. And so I think if we can build resilience in children, they will know how to deal with these situations, which are not really under their control. And one of my favorite quotes actually is, resilience is not a commodity you're born with, waiting silently on tap. It is self-manufactured painstakingly over time by working through your problems and never giving up, even in the face of difficulty or failure. And this was written by Lori Myers in her book, No Excuses, the Fit Mind, Fit Body strategy book.
Wow. I strongly believe in that. And whenever I share my story too about how I stuttered, and sometimes it still comes up, how I just went through some health challenges too. I found, yes, you're not born with it. It's a practice that you have to keep doing over and over again.
Yes, and I think what resilience does to kids is it gives them healthy behaviors. When they grow up, they will go into higher education or do some skilled qualifications, get better employment, have a better mental well-being. And they say if you're resilient, you get even quicker recovery from illnesses.
Yes.
So that is
so true. Yeah. So then how can you, I'm just looking at my notes here. How is that then related to confidence?
Well, I think they go hand in hand. A resilient person is a confident person, and confidence is an outcome of resilience.
It's an outcome. Okay.
Yes. Children who are self-confident, they learn more, they achieve more, and they have more friends, and they're just generally happier kids than those who have lower level of self-confidence or are less resilient. They don't. Children who are resilient, they're probably not very happy. They're always looking for support. They don't feel that good about themselves. They don't even know what their good qualities are or what they're good at, and they don't believe in themselves, and they just feel that they're no good at anything.
Right. So then how do we know what to do with the child? So if there were some kind of tips that you could give to parents where they come and they're saying to you, this is what I'm seeing in my child.
Yes.
Anxiety or anger, behavior issues, and they don't feel confident. How do you then start to tell the parents, okay, let's start with this first?
Okay, so I always find that to build resilience or to have confident kids, they need support from outsiders and know their inner strengths. So by outside supports, I mean the parent-child relationships. Parents need to have caring relationships. Give them lots of attention and love. Play with the kids, because when you play with the kids, they start talking to the parents. Take the time out to listen to your children, even if it was a really small thing, because for you might think it's a small thing, but for a child it may be a big problem.
Right.
And if you don't listen to your kids, however little the problem is for yourself, you're not going to be able to engage with them. Show empathy. help the children learn how to identify their feelings and express their feelings, so they feel comfortable in sharing things with you as a parent.
So then, something simple would be, if I were speaking to my daughter, I would say, share with me how you're feeling, what you do, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, how was your day? What did you do at school? Tell me something interesting you did at school.
Right.
Just little things. Who did you play with? Did you play with so and so?
It's funny that you say that, because every time now, my kid is 11, and every time she comes home, I always ask the same question. So how was school? What did you do today? And the day that I don't ask, she'll say, Mom, you didn't ask me how is it?
Yes. They like talking. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And the day they don't say anything, maybe there's something wrong, and some things happen which maybe they need to share. That's the first. The parent-child relationship. Also, your parent, positive role models in your life. The adults around you.
Right.
It could be your aunts, uncles, whatever. Your teachers.
Yeah.
You learn. The kids. What do they learn from these people? Learn to be patient, be in charge of their emotions, how to stay positive, how others help each other, how people help each other. Even simple things like how to calm down, just take deep breaths. If you're doing something on an impulse, maybe stop and think again. Take the time to
step back
and so that. And then when we talk about the children's inner strengths, we need to help them recognize what they're good at, because not everybody is good at everything.
Right.
So many times children say that I'm not good at this and that, and I say that, what are your good qualities? Look at yourself, and you might be good at something which others might not be. So I think it's very important for children to look at what they're good at and use those to build their resilience.
Which is a great thing, because sometimes we don't. I find that we are so kind of busy that we don't even have the time sometimes to just stop and talk to our kid and say, what I really liked about you today, or do you know what I really liked about what you did today?
Absolutely.
It adds those qualities, right?
Yes, I think, tell them what they're good at, encourage them, tell them, even if it's a little thing, how proud you are of them, just little things, give them a positive outlook towards anything, however small they're doing.
What I really like, and I really want to give this tip to other mom and dads out there, is when I drive, that's the best time I have with my child, because there's no distractions.
Absolutely. I think I so agree with
talking about anything and everything, and that's the time that she'll chat all the way.
Yes, or before bedtime.
Yeah, that's right. That too. When I go into the bedroom and she's like, just stay here and sleep with me for 5 minutes, and I go, okay. And then, we're just chatting away. And I always tell her, I love our drives and our time together when there's no distractions, because it's just me and you, and we're just having a really good girl-to-girl talk, even though she's only 11, but still.
Yes. No, I mean, I really found it difficult because I've got twins. And I found it really hard to spend one-on-one time when they were little, and I missed that. And I think it's so important to have that one-on-one time with each child, because then, they start confiding in you. But now, me and my husband, we make it a point to actually have that one time with each of the kids. But one more thing I would like to add to that is responsibility and participation is really important. Give your child responsibility, because it helps them understand themselves, and also makes them proud of the little achievements that they might be doing in terms of
Right.
that kind of responsibility,
Right.
and make them participate in your conversations, and make them have a little bit of an input in family things, obviously not the big ones, but
Right. Right.
and I think that helps a child to build the kind of confidence and resilience as well.
That's so true. Now let's get into the NLP part of this, right? So
Yeah.
how do you use NLP to build the confidence in children?
Okay, so we did talk about NLP just briefly earlier. What I tell children what NLP is, I tell children NLP is about a person thinking the language that they use, not just to communicate with others, but also the language that they use in their head. The self-talk that we all do, and that affects the behavior that we produce and the results we get. So that one things that I do with kids is the communication model, the NLP communication model. That's the first thing that I do with all kids, because it's surprising to see how many kids don't understand what communication is.
Now, when you say the model, just for the listeners and the viewers,
Yes.
that's communication styles, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
how we all get all the information in our heads and how
Yes.
we filter them.
Yes.
So we filter them with the processes that we've got within our brains, and just keep the important bits of information and delete the ones that we don't want. So that's one thing I do with them, and tell them how important communication is, and how we can use make those filters more positive.
Oh, okay.
For more get better results.
I like that. The way you explain that makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah. And that helps them then try and focus on their individual strengths, because it starts to make them think, what are the things that I'm good at, and what are the things that I'm not really interested in.
Right.
And I can just I think there was my daughter sometimes comes and says to me, "Mommy, I didn't really enjoy my playtime today." And I tell her that, just think of all the positive things that happened during that playtime, and remove all the negative things that happen, and start just looking at the positive things that are happening in your thinking.
Right.
And go with those rather than
Right.
just looking, keeping those negative things as well.
Right.
So that's something that I do with them. I do anchoring. I don't know if you've I'm sure you have heard of, but just for the listeners,
for the listeners,
just for the listeners,
yeah.
I help the children install positive anchors that are a quick and easy way to enter a resourceful state on demand.
So why don't you give us an example?
Yes, so just to tell you what anchoring is. So anchoring is a simple connection between a stimulus and a certain emotional response.
Okay.
For example, listening to a song, may remind you of an event or evoke an emotion in you. That is an anchor. It's an external trigger, though.
Mm-hmm.
Or if sometimes you are feeling low, you might want to do something that makes you feel happy. Those are internal triggers. You're walking down and you smell a perfume which reminds you of your mom.
Mm-hmm.
That's like an anchor, but an external one. And how we do it is we ask the child to use their imagination and think of a time in the past when they were easily able to handle a problem or be confident. And when they start getting that positive feeling in them, you could actually see their breathing increase and stuff. I ask them to use a trigger. I recommend using either 2 fingers together or rubbing an earlobe, something which is practical and they can use by even standing up, sitting down, whatever.
That's right.
And obviously, we anchor that state, and obviously it needs a bit of practice, but they can then use these triggers whenever they need them. So they're there. They might be feeling, a teacher asks a question, they might know the answer but not feeling very confident in answering it. They can let that trigger go off of that confidence feeling and use that.
Now, they do have to practice that, because I'm sure it won't happen.
They do.
They
do. So when kids come to see me for a session, I will go through it with them for 3-4 times, and then ask them to practice it over time. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets, and the easier. For me now, having done it for so long, I don't even really need to fire off my anchor. I just need to think about it.
Right.
So it's so strong now.
Yes.
But yeah, it does help. Yeah.
Okay. If I could share my anchor too, when I go on.
Yes.
And I have to speak to an audience, of course, it's very normal to get nervous, right? And
yes, absolutely.
even after speaking so many times, when I go on stage, I still get nervous, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But my anchor is, it's more about stepping on the floor and imagining a circle around me. And it's my color, which is gold. And then it beams up like Star Trek.
Yes.
And so then it's all around me, and it beams up and down, and I feel really good and confident, and energy is I can actually feel it,
Yes.
But I've done that anchor various times. That now you're right.
I think what you're talking about is a circle of excellence that we do use in NLP, and I do teach kids as well. That's something that they can take, in any situation as well.
That's right.
Yes. So sometimes kids have, Peppa Pig or something, whatever they, want to see in that. And yeah.
So, Namita, what I'd like to do, because we're already at 25 minutes. Can you believe that?
No.
I told you, time flies fast. I was wondering if you could give an example of a child that you may have seen in the past or just recently that had some issues, and that you did something with them that really helped them with their...
Yes, I saw, I was approached by a mom of a 7-year-old girl who was having lots of anger issues. And, she was having meltdowns. Obviously, had a consultation with her. And, at the consultation, she asked me if her mom could go out.
Okay.
And so mom went out, and she said to me, she says that she is very upset because her parents give her little sister more attention than her, and that's where the anger is coming from. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I did some anchoring with her, which really calmed her down. And I do something which is called an anger map with children with who come for anger issues. It just makes them understand what anger does to them, what does it do to others, how do they see themselves when they're angry, would they like to see themselves when they're not angry, and just puts everything into perspective. I think I had 3 sessions with her. And after the 3rd session, the mom said to me, she's absolutely fine. Every time she's about to get angry, she uses the anchor. And I think her anchor was just crossing her fingers, if I remember correctly. And I haven't heard back from them. So, well...
That's a good thing about NLP, I think.
Yes.
Which is also, I too find it's after 1 or 2 sessions.
Absolutely.
They're done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously each child is different. Some may take longer, some don't. I think there was one girl, I just saw her for the consultation in 1 session. And she was just having some issues around friendship at school. And after one session, and I did the communication model with her, and I did the anchoring with her, and she never came back. And her mom emailed me later to say that, she was much more happier at school, and she had, sorted herself out. So, yeah.
So just going to the anger map, is it something that is individualized, or is it something that you just show them, which is...
I make them think about... I made it up just to get a little more out of the children, because sometimes kids, I find, don't speak that much. So it was just like a game that I started playing with them.
Okay.
And I found that, just making them understand what they're doing to others and what they're doing to themselves, and would they actually like to see themselves in this, that kind of frame of mind, actually help them understand maybe themselves, and looking from another person's point of view as well, the perpetual positions that we do sometimes.
Right.
So I have used it, and I chop and change it depending on the kind of problem I'm dealing with. So
okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. All right. Well, it's almost time here that we're done, but I wanted you to tell our viewers and listeners where they can find you or how they can connect with you.
Thank you, Zaheen. It's been a pleasure. And yes, you can find me on you can email me on Namita, Namita, at NLP4 as in number 4 for kids.org. You can find me on my website, which I don't know if you will put it on.
I will add that to the show notes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
make sure you go on her website. I know you also have a really good Facebook page where you put nice, quotes and things that you.
Yeah, I do like to engage with the people, and
yes. Yeah. So
in every which way possible. So.
And the Facebook page is NLP4Kids.
No, the Facebook page is called Kids Mindset Therapy Limited.
Kids Mindset Therapy. Okay, and I'll put that as well in the show notes. So make sure you go to her website and her show notes. And my show notes, so that you can click and join her Facebook page, especially if you are someone that has a child that is going through issues. Well, you can learn so much from her, as well as if you know someone who has been going through issues with their child, then make sure you share this show with them and let them know that, hey, there is something out there that can help. So I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time out of your busy day to listen or to even watch the show episode here. And again, this is episode number 33. And I also wanted to invite you to a virtual class that I'm doing on May 25th. It's a live class where I will be coaching you through how you can find more time in your day and remove all those distractions. It'll be about 75 minutes. And every time I do a virtual class, people love it because they just take that and do something with it. And it's amazing with all the things that we find happening in our Facebook group, which you'll be invited to as well once you join the virtual class, on all the things that they're able to do where they thought that they couldn't do before. All right, so I will put that in my show notes as well, and that's on May 25th. Okay, until next time, bye, and thank you for watching, and thank you for listening.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to Thrive in Life with your hosts, Zaheen Nanji. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit ZaheenNanji.com. That's ZaheenNanji.com. We'll catch you on the next episode of Thrive in Life.